Eala faces 2 tests in one night. 2 matches await Filipina tennis star Alex Eala on Friday as she continues her run at the WTA 500 Mubadala Abu Dhabi Open. Eala advanced to the singles quarterfinals after a come-from-behind victory over Belarusian Alexandra Sasnovich, pulling off a 2-6, 6-4, 7-6, 5 win on Thursday night. The 20-year-old displayed grit in the deciding set, erasing a 0-4 deficit to turn the match in her favor. First up, the world number 45 faces world number 11 Ekaterina Alexandrova in the singles quarterfinals before shifting to doubles action later in the day with Indonesian partner Janice Tien. Eala and Tjen will test their Southeast Asian pairing against second-seeded Spaniard Cristina Buxa and China's Shuai Zhang. The first-time doubles partners advanced after eking out a 7-5, 3-6, 10-6 victory over France's Kristina Mladenovic and Canadian Leylah Fernandez. Alexandrova reached the quarterfinals with a dominant 6-3, 6-0 win over Ukraine's Diana Yastremska in the round of 16. The 31-year-old reached a career-high world ranking of number 10 in October 2025. She owns 5 WTA Tour singles titles and 3 WTA 125 titles. In addition to 7 singles crowns on the ITF circuit, Eala faces 2 tests in one night. The night Eala turned 16, the moon hung low and coppery, as if it had dipped itself in blood before rising. That alone should have warned her. She stood at the edge of the village, boots sinking into damp earth, cloak pulled tight against the wind. The elders had not walked her this far. They never did. A test meant to measure truth could not be witnessed without being warped by expectation. So Eala was alone, holding a lantern whose flame trembled like it shared her nerves. Everyone knew about the test. The trial of the stones. Every child of the valley faced it once. Walk into the old forest, follow the river until it split in 3, choose the right path, return by dawn. The stones would judge whether your heart was steady, whether fear ruled you, whether you could be trusted with the valley's future. What no one had told her was that the forest sometimes asked for more. Eala stepped beneath the first arch of trees, and the sounds of the village vanished as if swallowed. The forest breathed differently at night. Leaves whispered in a language just beyond hearing, and the river's distant rush sounded like a warning repeated too many times. She followed the path until it thinned, then vanished entirely. Roots twisted like sleeping serpents. Her lantern light bent strangely, stretching shadows into long, thin fingers that reached for her ankles. By the time she reached the river, her pulse had learned a new rhythm, fast, uneven, alive. The river split ahead of her, exactly as the elders described. 3 branches. 3 choices. The trial of the stones. Eala knelt, setting the lantern down, and pressed her palm to the earth. The elders said the right path felt right. Not smarter. Not safer. Just right. She closed her eyes. And that's when she heard it. Eala. Her breath caught. No one said her name like that, soft, careful, as if afraid it might break. She turned. At the edge of the trees stood her brother, Iron. He looked exactly as he had the day he vanished 2 years ago. Same crooked smile. Same scar on his chin from when she'd pushed him off the mill wall as children. Same eyes, warm and apologetic. You're not real, Eala whispered. Iron stepped closer. The lantern flickered. You always say that when you're scared. Her throat tightened. You died. I got lost, he said gently. Just like you will if you keep going. This was not part of the test. Everyone knew the forest showed visions sometimes, fears, memories, but this was too precise. Too cruel. Eala stood. Why are you here? To bring you back. He held out his hand. You don't have to prove anything. Not tonight. Not ever. The first test was clearer now than any fork in the river. The trial of the stones asked for courage. The forest asked for truth. Eala wanted, desperately, to take his hand. To let the night fold itself backward, erase the hollow ache she carried every day. But she remembered the last time she had seen Iron alive. How he'd turned at the forest edge, smiling, confident, believing the woods would never harm him. That belief had killed him. You're not my brother, she said, voice shaking but steady enough. My brother wouldn't ask me to turn away from who I'm meant to be. Iron's smile faltered. The forest sighed. His shape wavered, like smoke losing its form, and then he was gone. The air felt lighter, emptier, and Eala realized tears were sliding silently down her face. She wiped them away and turned back to the river. Only 2 paths remained. She chose the narrowest one. The path led her higher, deeper, until stones rose from the ground like broken teeth. At their center stood the standing stone, the heart of the trial, etched with symbols that pulsed faintly in the dark. Eala approached, placing both hands on its cold surface. The second test came without warning. Pain exploded behind her eyes, and suddenly she was seeing, not the forest, but the valley below years from now. The river ran dry. Fields cracked. Children cried from hunger. And at the center of it all stood Eala herself, older, wearing the elder's marks, her face hard with impossible choices. She understood then. The first test asked if she could face fear. The second asked if she could carry responsibility. Power would be offered to her, power to protect the valley, to lead it, but it would cost her peace. Ease. Perhaps even love. She would be blamed for storms she didn't cause and praised for miracles she couldn't explain. She would stand alone more often than not. The stone pulsed, waiting. Eala thought of her brother, of the choice he hadn't survived, of the choice she had just made. I'm afraid, she said aloud, voice echoing against the stones. But I won't look away. The pain eased. The vision faded. When Eala pulled her hands back, the symbols on the stone glowed bright once, then dimmed forever. Dawn found her walking back into the valley, lantern extinguished, shoulders sore, eyes tired, heart heavier than it had been the night before. But when the elders looked at her, they did not ask questions. They already knew. Eala had faced 2 tests in one night, and she had passed them both. Eala faces 2 tests in one night. The bell rang once at midnight. Eala froze in her bed, breath caught halfway between sleep and fear. No one rang the bell at midnight unless the mountain demanded it. She pulled on her cloak and stepped outside, where the village lay hushed under a sky crowded with stars. At the center square, Elder Meave waited beside the bell rope, her face carved with worry. It's time, the elder said. Earlier than we expected. For which test? Eala asked. Meave hesitated. That, she said softly, is for the mountain to decide. Eala swallowed and followed her to the eastern path, the one that climbed toward the cliffs. Every child of the village trained for a test, one night of endurance, courage, and skill. Passing meant adulthood. Failing meant no one ever said. But 2 tests in one night? That was legend. A punishment. Or a calling. They stopped at the first marker stone. Meave turned back. From here, you walk alone. The elder tied a thin silver cord around Eala's wrist. If you lose your way, pull this. But know that calling for help ends the trial. Eala nodded. The cord felt heavier than it should,